relevancy and the admissibility. And this chapter, if you remember our previous class, the preliminary class, this chapter is divided into three subpart. Three subpart. The part first is basically related to from section 5 to 11. This part first is also divided into two subpart. First is logically relevant fact 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 11. And the second portion, second subpart is special class relating to the conspiracy, the facts that are relevant to the conspiracy. That means section 10. Okay. So both these two subpart makes the part number first. The second part is related to three things. One is admission, section 17 to 23. Then admitting the whole guilt is known as confession. So confession, the second subtopic in the part 2 is confession from section 24 to 30, and then dying declaration, section 32 clause 1. The third part of the chapter 2 is the expert opinion or opinion of third person when relevant, section 45 to 51. So these three part are present, and accordingly we will have the discussion. First, I'm taking the first part where our discussion will be related to from section 5 to 11. Okay. First, I'm taking section 5. See, the section 5 is in line with the section 136. Under section 136, the judge has to decide the admissibility, and that admissibility has to be decided according to the rule that relevant facts are admissible. In that line, section 5 is drafted. Now I'm reading section 5. You can also read along with me in your Bayer Act, either you have in the hard form or as a soft copy. Okay. Evidence may be given of fact in issue or evidence may be given in any suit or proceeding. Evidence may be given, and now you relate this word evidence. Evidence means either it would be a oral statement by the witness, or it be electronic record or a document, that material, the matter expressed on something. Okay. So evidence may be given in any suit or proceeding. The any suit or proceeding, basically these two words are used to cover civil as well as criminal cases. Suit means civil cases, proceeding means criminal. Okay. So of the existence or non-existence of every fact in issue, and of such other fact as are hereinafter declared to be relevant, and of no other. So the section says that those facts that are in issue, fact in issue, the disputed fact, the existence of those fact is asserted by one party and denied by the another party. Okay. With respect to that fact in issue or relevant fact, or any relevant fact that are made relevant under any of the proceeding section like section 6, 7, 8 up to 55. With respect to these two facts, evidence may be given in any civil or criminal proceeding. Civil means in any suit or proceeding. Now, what does it mean? That the evidence means the oral testimony or the document. For what? For the proof of the fact, relevant fact, or the fact in issue may be given. And then the word is and of no others. That means evidence means any oral statement, okay, by calling a witness, or any document. These two things you can adduce in the court with respect to or related to, or for proving the existence and non-existence of fact in issue or the relevant fact, and no other evidences, other the testimony that not related to the fact in issue or the relevant fact would not be allowed. So it is in line with the section 136. Now try to apply it into a practical situation. For sake of simplicity, take the example of the murder trial, that means the criminal proceeding. A A killed B. Okay. So maybe stabbing. I'm taking the examples. A stabs B. This is fact in issue. By stabbing B, death of B cause. This is another fact in issue. A, while stabbed, was intention to cause the death of B. This is third fact in issue. And maybe that A, because of unsoundness of mind, was not capable or knowing the nature of the act. That may be, if it is contended by the the accused, so that may be the fact in issue. Now with respect to that A stabbed B, suppose a eyewitness D saw. So when he giving the oral testimony, the oral evidence as a testimony, so that is evidence. This is permissible because it related to existence of the fact in issue, that A stabs B, or maybe the relevant fact that after stabbing, after the stabbing, A then hide himself into the house and locked himself. So this is the subsequent conduct. So that may be a relevant fact, the subsequent conduct of the accused. And with respect to the existence of this conduct, that whether he locked himself or not, with respect to that also, the evidence like the oral testimony can be given, that the mother of the accused saw that suddenly he came and then he locked himself. So that means the section 5 is saying that the two type of the evidence, oral or the documentary evidence, these oral and documentary evidence cannot be given in any civil or criminal proceeding of anything. These two evidences, or in nutshell you can say the evidences, that mean oral and documentary, must be related to either proving existence or non-existence of fact in issue or the relevant fact. Manu, phone lena beta. Okay. Now, explanation that is attached to it, that this section shall not enable any person to give evidence of the fact which he is disentitled to prove by the provision of the law for time being enforced related to civil procedure code. So certain fact that are not a person is not entitled to prove. Okay, he is not entitled to prove in the civil proceeding, maybe like in the estoppel, he is not entitled to rebut the presumption created by the estoppel. So with respect to that, the person cannot give the evidence. With respect to that also, the oral or the documentary things he cannot give. Like there is a dispute between A and B. A smartly, before his father death, maybe after the death of the father, he will inherit the property. But before the death of his father, he cleverly transfer the property to some other person, B. And subsequently, A's father died and he inherited the property. But then, dishonest mind, he filed the case against the B that at the time when this particular agreement or the contract with respect to the property was done, I was not entitled to this property. I was not the owner of this property. And in that case, the principle of the estoppel will apply as according to our principle of estoppel section 115 to 117. When we will discuss in the detail. So the principle of estoppel apply, and now this person A will not be entitled to give the evidence, any documentary कि वो document prove करे कि देखो my father was died on the 2021 because of this corona, ये death certificate देखो, and this transaction is happened in 2018. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So in this case, A was not entitled, and so the evidence with respect to this relevant fact that A was, A's father was live or was not dead, or the fact in issue that he was not owner of that property. This, with respect to this particular fact, he is not entitled to adduce the evidence. He is not even able entitled to give provide the oral testimony. अपनी मम्मी जी को बुला लाया कि बताओ उस समय पापा जी जिंदा थे कि नहीं. So that is also not possible. So this is the illustration. Now come to the explanation. This illustration. This was the explanation. The first illustration, two illustration basically are provided. One is with respect to the criminal proceeding. Another is with respect to the civil proceeding. A is tried for the murder of B by beating him with club with intention of causing his death. At A's trial, the following facts are in issue. A is beating B with the club. So this is fact in issue that A, beats B with the club. So with respect to this fact in issue, the evidence can be provided. किसी को आपने विटनेस ले आया जिसने देखा उसको मारते हुए, ओके, या कोई वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग है जिसमें ये दिखाया गया है. So this electronic record in the second or the oral evidence is admissible because these are able to prove existence of this fact in issue. Okay, and so they are admissible as per the section 5. The second is causing B's death by such beating. So that can be proved by medical evidence that whether the death is caused by that beating or not. The medical probability will be, that ruled out. And so the medical evidence or maybe the person who saw that after beating, that person was unconscious or his heartbeat was not, working. So that may be, proved as to prove the existence of the second fact in issue. The third is A's intention to cause B's death. And this is the psychological fact. Psychological fact. And by showing the conduct of the accused, that can be proved. His confession, that can be proved. So all those evidence that related to or that are capable of proving existence or non-existence of fact in issue or relevant fact that we will discuss after section 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so with respect to that, like the motive. Under section 8, motive is the important relevant fact. So suppose with respect to the motive, the oral evidence or the documentary evidence, if you are able to provide, that will be well enough. And other than these, the evidence would not be admissible. Evidence cannot be given as per the section 5. Now here, the two words are important written here, or you can say the difference of these two words we have to understand. The relevancy word is written here, like the fact in issue or the relevant existence of issue or such other fact as hereinafter relevant. As hereinafter relevant, this word is written here. So here the relevant or relevancy means the legal relevancy, not the logical relevancy. The difference between legal relevancy and logical relevancy is that as a logical relevant fact means that essentially based on logic or causal connection between the events, and maybe some of the fact that are logically well relevant but by the law has not been declared under any of the sections, any of the provisions of the Indian Evidence Act. So those facts may be logically relevant, but that will not be treated as legally relevant. And here our focus will be on the legal relevancy, legally relevant fact as prescribed in section 6 to 55, and not the logically relevant fact. Now come to the another thing, and if you see the name of the name of the chapter is also relevancy and admissibility. The relevancy and admissibility are two different things. And from our first lecture, I made focus on this point, that don't confuse with relevancy and admissibility. First, the relevancy here means legal relevancy. It is different from logical relevancy. Okay, and the second thing is that relevancy is also different from the admissibility. Like uh, uh, in section in Indian Evidence Act, there is section 27. It fall in under the confession group. uh, I have kept in the field an Agnu Nagesha case. You will read this particular thing also, that how much of the confession that made by the accused before the police is admissible, because as a confession, it is that made before the police officer, it is not admissible, though it is relevant, it is legally relevant. Okay, it is legally relevant also, but it is not admissible. Logically relevant we have, legally relevant we have, but admissibility nahi hai, because section 25 make it expressly inadmissible. And then in section 27, maybe you are feeling a slight difficulty to understand it. So अगर confession किया है तो as a confession वो तो नहीं prove होगा, लेकिन अगर उस confession से कुछ discovery होती है तो वो discovery वाला portion, that portion we can be used. I have kept in the field the knife with which I killed B. Okay, now it is logically relevant to prove the guilt of the accused, but the section 27 of the act prohibit that only so much of the information as relate distinctively to the fact thereby discovered may be proved is relevant, and hence latter portion of the accused statement which I have killed B, though logically relevant, is not legally relevant and hence inadmissible in evidence. In simple word, suppose the accused before the police officer said that I killed Mr. Sarma, and the knife by which I killed Mr. Sarma I hide in the in particular box. And on this statement, police went to the that particular house, searched the box, and then they found the knife also. Now, this statement, this thing that I killed, it is a confession, and under Section 25, it cannot be admissible before the court as such. But this discovery of the knife by this statement and this inference that he had the knowledge, this particular fact, this much of the fact is admissible. Okay, but if you logically see that when he know the knife, he is saying it is maybe the logically relevant, but legally it is became it is inadmissible. Okay, the legal relevancy and the admissibility. The admissibility means, you can say that whether the evidence is receivable or not receivable. Certain things like the previous statement, that made by a person before the in the proceeding, with that may be proved under section 157 or 155 to corroborate or to contradict a witness, are admissible but are not declared to be relevant. Okay, so maybe a particular fact is admissible, but it has not been declared as relevant under the chapter 2. Or you can say that relevancy, the legal relevancy means the legal relevancy is the larger circle, and in that relevant fact that are made relevant by the law by virtue of the section 6 to 55 of the Indian Evidence Act. Some of those relevant facts are expressly declared to be inadmissible. That means that cannot be received as an evidence during the judicial inquiry. So the admissibility is the smaller area, because all relevant fact cannot or are not admissible. Okay, so admissible relevancy is the bigger circle, and admissibility is the smaller circle. But that is also not perfectly true, that I want to say. Even there are some facts, there are certain things that are admissible but that are not declared relevant under the chapter 2, that means from section 6 to 55, like the previous and subsequent conduct, like the when the the like maybe the same witness as a who lost the FIR, and after that he is giving the another statement, eh? So the second statement is contradicting the first statement. So this under section 55 or 57, contradiction and corroboration, these statements are admissible, though these statements or though these are not made relevant by any specific provisions under the chapter 2, that means from section 6 to 55. Okay, so exclusively you cannot say that the relevant fact are always admissible and admissible fact are always relevant. Okay, there may be certain relevant fact that are not admissible, then there are certain admissible fact that are not relevant. But as a simple thing, you can say that the relevancy has the bigger area, and in that, or you can say that under the chapter 2, whatever relevant are not fully admissible. Okay, uh, now come to the emphasis of this last line in the section 5, and of no others, and this exclude everything which is not covered by the preview of this section, or you can say which are not made uh, relevant with respect to those facts if any oral or the documentary evidence has to be given, that would not be become the admissible. There is the duty on the court to exclude the irrelevant evidences. And what is irrelevant evidence? If someone asks you that irrelevant evidence, from the section 5 you can give the answer that irrelevant evidence are those evidence that are not able to prove the existence or the non-existence of fact in issue or the relevant fact, or that are able to prove the existence of certain fact that are not relevant under the chapter 2. So those facts are known as those evidences are known as the irrelevant evidence. Okay. Now come to the next section, that is section 6. Before that, if you have any question with respect to the section 5, you can ask me. I'm giving 2 minutes time. Yes. Yes, guys. Any question, any query, or anything that you have in your mind with respect to section 5, the scope of the section 5, and the importance or the significance of the section 5, that the oral evidence or the documentary evidence with respect to which facts we have to give, or you can say what are the irrelevant evidence, what is the difference between the logical relevancy and legal relevancy, or the next one is how the admissibility is different from legal relevancy. From all these things, if you have any doubt, any question, yes, please ask me. Ojashvi. Yes, Ojashvi.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any question with respect to section 5?
No, sir.
Any question, any query? Okay. Now move to the next section, that means the section 6. From section 6 to 55, now we are on the provisions that are making certain fact as relevant fact. Fact in issue, we know that in a proceeding or in a suit, or you can say in a judicial inquiry, those facts that are disputed, those facts whose existence are asserted by one party and denied by another party, or you can say simply the controversial fact, or if you apply to, or if you see it from the substantive law, like any provision of the IPC, the all the ingredient, the essential ingredients, आपने किया होगा criminal law की classes में. So the proving of those ingredients are important for proving the commission of the offense, and that is disputed, that asserted by one party and denied by another party, because proving of one constituent element or one element would lead into the inquiry towards the commission of the offense. And so in the murder, that A stab B, this is one fact in issue. Accused will say, no, I didn't stab B, and the defense side will say that no, A stabs B. And with respect to this fact in issue, they will prove the evidences, oral as well as documentary. They will prove through the oral evidence. किसी विटनेस को लेके आएंगे, विटनेस कहेगा कि I saw that A stabs B, etc. Now the relevant fact are basically those facts that are related to fact in issue, and these facts are important for reaching at the conclusion. So the first provision I'm taking, that is section 6. Section 6, the relevancy of fact forming part of same transaction. This phrase, forming part of the same transaction, and the language of the section 6 when we will read is basically give the idea that it is the thing that we read or as written in by the English author as the principle of the res gestae, RESGESTAE, res gestae. Some people call it res gestae also. So in the competition examination, in the multiple choice question, many times this is asked that the principle of the res gestae is prescribed in which section? Section 6, 7, 8. You have to answer it is under section 6. Res gestae means forming the part of the same transaction. Part of the same transaction. Now read this section, that facts which though not in issue, it is saying that maybe those facts are not in issue, but are so connected with fact in issue as to form the part of same transaction. Those facts that are not in issue, that means their existence or their existence is neither asserted or denied by the opposite parties, but that are related to the fact in issue in such a manner that makes the part of the same transaction, are relevant, are declared to be relevant by virtue of section 6, whether they occurred at, this is further explanatory, whether they occurred at the same time and place or at the different time and the different place. Okay, so with respect to the time and the distance, with respect to the time and distance, there you say connectivity is not related, but when they form the part of the same transaction, and that can be understood by a simple example, that ASUB for a libel, the offense of defamation, you will find it under section 499. मान हानि, मान मतलब सम्मान, reputation, हानि, किसी ने मेरे सम्मान को ठेस पहुंचाई. So under the law of the tort also, if you remember, you have read it that under the English law, it is of two types, libel and the slander. Libel means the defamatory statement that made in the written form, and the slander, that is that targeted to the ears, and the libel is targeted to the eyes. So when the written, जब किसी को written में आप बेइज्जती करते हो, reputation loss करते हो, so that is libel, and when orally you do, that is slander. So libel, because it is in the written, it is in the more permanent form, so it is more liable. Now the question is that there are two persons, A and B, and A, B, by writing a letter, defame A. So A sue, A ने केस कर दिया B पे. A sue B for a libel contained in the letter. Okay. Now the letter forming part of the letter between the parties, the earlier letter, A ने पहले क्या लिखा, B ने डिफेम किया ना, उससे पहले A ने भी B को कुछ लिखा था. So all the letters that between the parties relating to the subject out of which the libel arose and forming the part of the correspondence, is पूरी correspondence with respect to this whole transaction जो भी इनके बीच में वार्तालाप चल रही थी, उससे related जो भी letter हैं, all those are a relevant fact, though they do not contain the libel itself. So the question is that whether the letter that sent by the B or written by the B forming the libel, or you can say forming the offense of defamation, all the earlier letters that make the correspondence between A and B, like the A first written to B, then B written to A, then again A written to B, और इन लेटर के ऊपर B को गुस्सा आया और फाइनली उसने जो भी स्टेटमेंट या जो भी लीगल वाला लेटर लिखा. So these letters may be not written at the similar time. एक समय पे नहीं लिखो, काफी अंतराल 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 पे हुई. Okay, but these letter make the part of the same transaction out of which the libel arose, and so all these earlier letters can also be proved because they also became the relevant fact. So whether these letter existed with respect to that also, as per the section 5, you can give the evidence. So this earlier correspondence through the letters, all those letters that makes the correspondence between A and B became the relevant by virtue of the section 6 because they make the part of same transaction. Some people give the example of this first illustration, but that gives the doubt. Like A is accused of the murder of B by beating him. Whatever was said or done by A or B or by the bystander at the beating or so shortly before or after it as to form the part of the same transaction. Like there is the fight between A and B, or you can say not the fight. A was beating B और B कह रहा है भैया मत मारो, A का नाम लेके कि राम भैया मत मारो. So whatever B is saying, that is also relevant because this is out of this whole transaction. Then the bystander who was was watching this whole incident, they are saying that Ram is beating B, so their statement also be. And the third person who heard this bystander statement, as per he has not seen the beating, he has only heard the statement given by this bystander. So as per it may be the hearsay evidence, but because it forming the part of the same transaction, it is relevant. After that, after that, shortly before and after that word is written, that after that beating, B run from the incident, and through the ambulance B was carried to the hospital. B में हॉस्पिटल में जाते समय भी स्ट्रेचर पे भी बी कह रहा है कि राम ने बहुत मारा मुझे, मैं मर जाऊंगा. Okay, so that is also the part of the same transaction. So all these things forming the part of the same transaction would become the relevant, and with respect to these relevant fact the evidence can be given. आप दे सकते हो कि उस समय यहाँ पे जो झगड़ा हुआ तो bystander was saying this thing, B was saying this thing. When he was in the hospital, he was also screaming, saying that don't kill me, don't kill me, A, don't kill me, A. With respect to these, fact are also became relevant by virtue of section 6. Slightly before that incident, suppose B was running and he was scared that B will beat me, B will kill me. So that statement can also become relevant. Illustration B, that A is accused of waging war against the government of India by taking part in an armed insurrection in which property is destroyed, troops are attacked, and goals are broken. All those, the occurrence of these facts are relevant as forming the part of the same transaction, because the bigger event is waging war against the government, and in this waging war against the government these different incident happen. कहीं जेल तोड़ी जा रही है, कहीं पे जो है प्रॉपर्टी को डिस्ट्रॉय किया जा रहा है, कहीं पे जो है ट्रूप्स पे अटैक किया जा रहा है. So all these incident, though At the time, A was not present, against whom there is the allegation. But because this whole incident are the part of this bigger transaction, are you getting my point? So in the incident of murder, or in the offense of the rape, all other transactions that are forming the part of the same thing, that after the accused, after the the rape, some person has given the his coat to the victim because his clothes were torn by the accused. So all these things that forming the part of the same transaction, वो एक ही transaction में हो रहा, there is no gap. Okay, with respect to that, that became the relevant under the section 6. The gap means the gap is not with respect to the time or with respect to space. The gap means the gap with respect to the causing connection. Like in the illustration D, with respect to the libel letter, all earlier letter that forming the same correspondence, एक ही correspondence से related हैं, and that resulted into the writing of the defamatory letter. So those earlier letter are also became the relevant fact. Okay. Section C, not sorry, section C, illustration C, that will also help you to understand that ASU, not it's D, sorry, D, illustration D. The question is whether certain goods ordered from B were delivered to A. Very interesting. Suppose you apply it into modern time, that you ordered a particular product, you order the laptop from Flipkart, and the question is the question became that whether this laptop is delivered to you or not. The laptop was first packed. Through the pack, it was delivered to the Bangalore. Then from the Bangalore, it delivered to the Flipkart hub to the Delhi. From Flipkart hub to the Delhi, that person who picked it, he also got. And the record, the fact of these, all the incident in which the previous person who has to get the delivery of these intermediary person, this is also relevant. The question is whether certain goods ordered from B were delivered to A. The goods were delivered to several intermediary persons successively. This each delivery is the relevant fact. That वहां बेंगलोर पे आया, बेंगलोर के हब से फिर दिल्ली में डिलीवर हुआ इंटरमीडियरी को, फिर दिल्ली से आपका जो लोकल वाला उसके पास आया, लोकल वाले से और श्याम सिंह ने लिया और श्याम सिंह को डिलीवर होके फाइनली वो आपको आया. सो ये जो अर्लियर जो है, ये इंटरमीडियरीज जो पर्सन है जिनको ये प्रोडक्ट डिलीवर होता हुआ के थ्रू आपके आया, these are also relevant. The main controversy is that whether you got it or not got it. मेन क्वेश्चन ये है, बट बिकॉज ये भी सेम ट्रांजेक्शन का पार्ट हो रहा है, बिकॉज आपकी डिलीवरी इस पूरे ट्रांजेक्शन से हुई है कि वहां से फ्लिपकार्ट के थ्रू आपको वो आया कि नहीं आया. एंड सो दीज इंटरमीडियरी डिलीवरीज or the delivery to these intermediary person may not be in the question, but it became relevant as the forming part of the same transaction, or you can say by virtue of the principle of the res gestae. Okay, with that principle, or in the in our statute with respect to forming the part of the same transaction, these facts became relevant, and the evidence of these facts you can give, oral evidence or documentary evidence या electronic record जहाँ पे वो टिप अप होकर मैसेज आता है कि यहाँ पहुंचा, that can be given. How that will be helpful to deciding the fact in issue, that we are not concerned here. We are just concerned that ये भी relevant होता है, इसके according आपको evidence दे सकते हैं, इसके अलावा आप नहीं दे सकते. Now the question is, suppose how these sections are significant in it in the judicial inquiry. Suppose there is this question, सिंपली आपके दोस्त ने ऐसे ही ऑर्डर किया फ्लिपकार्ट से, उसको डिलीवरी हुआ नहीं, उन्होंने कह दिया हमने डिलीवर कर दिया, आपने फिर उन पे केस कर दिया, भाई पेमेंट आपने ले लिया, डिलीवर आपने प्रोडक्ट नहीं किया, यू आर नॉट रिटर्निंग आवर मनी, यू आर नॉट रिजॉल्विंग दिस इशू, वी विल sue for the our recovery. And in that question, the Flipkart side, the defendant side want to prove that it was delivered to this particular Delhi hub. वहां पे इसकी डिलीवरी हुई, उसके बाद आप कह रहे भाई साहब इससे क्या मतलब है, हाउ दिस इज रिलेवेंट टू दिस इन फैक्ट इन इशू, भाई कहीं भी डिलीवर हुआ, वी हैव नॉट गॉट, एंड आपने कहा नो ऑब्जेक्शन, he cannot give this evidence, this is irrelevant, then he can say that my lord, this is the relevant fact because it forming the part of the same transaction, and the court will say yes. अब वहां पे आपको नॉलेज नहीं होगी तो आपको लगेगा यार जज ने क्या इनजस्टिस कर दिया, बट दैट इज रेलेवेंट. ओके, नाउ as such if you see this principle of res gestae as a multiple choice question, if it is asked you have to give the answer that section 6 is related or principle of res gestae is in section 6. But if you see from the larger perspective, the res gestae section, this principle engulf or has, or you can say the elements of this principle is seen in section 6, 7, 8, 9 and 14. Section 7, when we will discuss the cause, effect, opportunity. Section 8 में motive, etc. all things are covered. So from the larger that principle that covered under section 6, 7, 8, 9 and 14. Okay, but हमारे यहाँ के हिसाब से, like I said that as such if the question is asked whether the Indian Evidence Act is the substantive law or no exhaustive or not exhaustive, so we have to say that it is exhaustive, though it is not exhaustive completely. There are certain principles that are applicable outside this. Whether it is procedural or substantive, then we also have to say that it is procedural. But if you discuss it in the detail, it is not fully procedural. There are certain provisions that are substantive nature, like the section 1156, 116, 117, the principle of estoppel wale. So it is procedural law with overtune with the substantive provision. But in the one sentence we say it the procedural. Similarly, the res gestae principle as such, section 6 we have to refer. But if you look with the larger discussion, the section 6, 7, 8, 9 and 14 are treated under the res gestae by the various English law book author. And, section 6 of the Evidence Act is an exception to the general rule where hearsay evidence became admissible, and how that I'm explaining. The statement sought to be admitted, like that sought to be admitted forming the part of the res gestae may have the contemporaneously with the acts or the immediately thereafter. Section 6 of the Evidence Act and some of the succeeding section embody the rule of admission of evidence relating to what is commonly known as res gestae. They are in nature of an exception of hearsay rule. Section 6 permits the proof of the collateral statement which are so connected with the fact in issue as to part of the same transaction. So that I read from this particular book. Like in the illustration, take the illustration A of the section 6, that A in the trial of the murder, A beats B, and whatever said by the bystander were saying that that why A you are beating B, don't kill B. And as you heard this statement of from the bystander, okay, आप अपने घर में थे, आपको बाहर चिल्लाने की आवाज आ रही, and now you want to give it. If you apply the best evidence rule, as such, you cannot give the evidence that whether A beats B or not, because the beating is something that is perceived by our eyes, that can be seen. And best evidence rule says that only the person, when something that is capable of seeing, the person who actually saw it can give the evidence. So the person who actually saw that A was beating B can give the evidence. But as such, what the bystander said to their statement, you are giving the evidence. So with respect to that, you became the hearsay evidence. But because whatever was saying by the bystander is the natural consequence that was forming the part of the same transaction. कहीं पिटाई हो रही है, कोई राम पिटाई कर रहा है श्याम की, और तुम ऐसे थोड़ी कहोगे कि जो हरिशंकर पिटाई कर रहा है श्याम की. That cannot be natural, reaction. So that this forming the part of the same transaction, the statement of the bystander, with respect to statement of the bystander, the evidence can be given, and that evidence, as per the our best evidence rule, will be hearsay evidence. But as per the section 6, it is relevant, and so section 6 is even breach this hearsay evidence rule. Okay. Then the statement admissible as part of the transaction. The FIR. A person after the incident go to the police station and narrate the whole story and lodge the first information report. So this first information report now can all become the admissible as the part of the transaction. Or maybe A was beating B, and the person C who was watching it, and C then close the FIR, narrate the whole incident, how it happened, and this first information report will be admissible as saying the part of the same transaction, that just after this this particular thing was narrated just after the 5 minutes. And so there is very very less possibility of the fabrication, because it is a part of the same transaction. Maybe you are having certain thing in your mind, the doubt that, sir, how this first information report will become part of the same transaction. See how it became the same transaction, because it is the natural reaction that after the incident, just after the incident, 5 to or 10 minutes, you lost the FIR. So there is very very less chances of the fabrication, and so with respect to that, it became the part of the same transaction. भाई जब आपके पास आपको कोई पीटेगा या आपने कोई चीजें देखी, तो उसका सेम ट्रांजेक्शन, अगला ट्रांजेक्शन क्या होगा कि आप जाके FIR करवाओगे, पुलिस को इन्फॉर्म करोगे. So in that sense, it became the part of the same transaction. This particular fact that after 5 minutes I lost the FIR, this would also became the relevant. And just after you have lost the first information report, with respect to that fact, you can give the evidence. आपने FIR की कॉपी देखी, देखो इंसिडेंट 6:30 पे हुआ, मैंने 6:35 पे FIR की थी. हाउ मच इट वुड बी रिलेवेंट, वी आर नॉट सेइंग कि आपने टाइम पे FIR करवा दी तो सारा अल्टीमेटली वही डिसाइड करेगा. दैट इज नॉट, बट एटलीस्ट यू कैन गिव द एविडेंस ऑफ दिस, that just after that I lost the FIR, and on the 6:35, just after 5 minutes I lost the FIR. Now the another thing कि इसमें क्या नई बात है, what is new in it? हमें पता है भाई first information report is, that's why there is this trial. But this fact that this is the part of the same transaction, for proving that after 5 minutes we have lost FIR, this fact can be proved, and this fact may be play the important role of in deciding the the question. Okay. Now the another thing is that sometime in the rape offenses, the after the rape incident, the victim goes to the police station and she was crying. She was even tried to kill herself because she was robbed and no one will marry him. her reputation has been tarnished, etc. So these facts can also be proved to show, or because these are relevant as a part of the same transaction, because when this type of the heinous crime is committed, naturally this type of the things will happen, though this will be also relevant as the subsequent conduct also under section 8 that we will read, but as a part of the same transaction also you can prove it. So this is whole about the section 6. Now, if you have any question with respect to section 6, you can ask me. Otherwise, I will move to the next section, that is section 7. Yes, guys, please ask any question. Mr. Satpal. Satpal Yadav. Satpal.
Yes, sir.
Any question from section 6? पूरा समझ में आ गया किस तरह कौन कौन सी चीजें रिलेवेंट हो जाएंगी? Good. Okay. Now move to the next section. So by section 6, other facts that forming the part of the same transaction, whether वो एक टाइम पे हुए हो या अलग टाइम पे हुए हो या एक उसी समय हुए हो या उससे थोड़े बाद में समय हो, लेकिन वो उस पर्टिकुलर इंसिडेंट से जुड़े हुए हों, जैसे कि डिफेमेशन के केस में जो पुराने लेटर्स का जो कॉरेस्पॉन्डेंस हुआ तो वो भी रिलेवेंट है, हालांकि वो अलग अलग टाइम पे लिखे गए. नाउ कम टू द नेक्स्ट section 7, that making some other facts are as the relevant one. Under section 5, section 7, 5, modes or the 5 facts or the 5, different incidents are made at, relevant. First is the occasion. कोई occasion होगा, मौका होगा तभी तो crime होगा. Second is the cause, the reason. Third is the effect. मारने के बाद में जमीन पे उनकी लड़ाई के निशान हैं, ब्लड के स्ट्रेन हैं फर्श पे, इफेक्ट हुआ ना. लड़ाई में जहां हुई, फायर किया बुलेट तो सर में से टकरा के पीछे शीशे में भी लगी, दैट इज आल्सो इफेक्ट. द फोर्थ वन इज constituting the state of thing under which it happened. So all that state of thing under which this particular incident happened. And the fifth one is the opportunity, that on the street there is one girl walking in the night. So maybe the offender against whom there is allegation of raping A. So this fact that she was at the relevant time alone on the street, this is the fact that providing or that showing that opportunity, that the accused had the opportunity to commit the crime, and that she was alone, no one was there. This fact would become relevant, and with respect to proving this particular fact, the evidence you can give. कोई भी आप एविडेंस दे सकते हो. ओके, सो fact which are occasion, cause or effect of fact in issue, this is the marginal note. मोटा मोटा अक्षरों में लिखा हुआ है ना पेयर एक्ट में सेक्शन 7 के बाद में. And it gives the confusion. स्टूडेंट कई बार कंफ्यूज हो जाते हैं कि इसमें तीन ही चीजें हैं, ओकेजन है, कोज है और इफेक्ट है, बट इसके अंदर 5 चीजें हैं. There are 5 things. These are 5 modes of connection. The facts, now I am reading the section. Facts which are the occasion, cause or effect, immediately or otherwise, of relevant fact or fact in issue, or which constitute the state of thing under which they happened, or fifth one is which afforded an opportunity for their occurrence or the transaction. So first is the occasion, second is the cause, third is the effect, immediate effect or otherwise, and the fourth one is the which constitute the state of thing under which it happened, and the fifth one is the opportunity for their occurrence. Okay, so these facts, though not possibly forming the part of the same transaction, but are connecting in such a manner that shows their relation with the fact in issue or other relevant fact. That A was robbed. The fact that before the robbery, A went to the fair, मेले में गया था, पैसे लेके गया था, तो पैसे उसके पास है, उसने बी को बता भी दिया. So these fact he can prove because these fact are basically relating to the fact in issue, because they are, this is that he was in the fair and he has the money, this is the occasion. Okay, and related to fact in issue, that is the robbery. Similarly, that how there is the allegation that A killed B by giving the poison. So the death of the B after consume the milk, ए ने दूध लाया, बी भाई साहब को दिया, दूध पीते भाई उनके तो उल्टी होने लगी, खून आने लगे. सो दिस इज इफेक्ट. सो रामलाल जिसने देखा कि दूध पीने के बाद में तुरंत उल्टी और खून होने लगी, दैट कैन बी प्रूव्ड बिकॉज दैट इज इफेक्ट. ओके, opportunity, I think I have told you. The constituting the state of thing. So like in the illustration A, वो मेले में जाता है, that also somehow related to the constitute the state of thing under which it happened. The footprint, murder happened at in a particular field, and there are the marks of the struggle between accused and the victim. So that mark of the struggle is also relevant because that is effect, the effect of the offense. वहां से शुरुआत में दो लोगों के फुटप्रिंट थे, बाद में एक का फुटप्रिंट है, so that footprint is also relevant. Now I'm reading illustration B. The question is whether A murdered B. Marks on the ground produced by a struggle at or near the place where the murder was committed are relevant. The question is whether the C1, the question is whether A poisoned B, the state of B's health before the symptom ascribed to the poison, and the habit of B known to A, which afforded an opportunity for administration of poison, are the relevant. Now, in the illustration C, there is another thing, that knowing the habit. So knowing the habit, that is constitute the state of thing. Like a person knows that his friend consume alcohol in the night, और रात को alcohol, after drinking alcohol, he listen music, टीवी चला के. अब उसने देख लिया कि नशे में रहेगा, थोड़ा सा कंट्रोल नहीं होगा, सो उसने तार काट के इस तरह से प्लग में लगा दिया ताकि when he touches the plug he can be electrocuted. So this knowing the fact And all these things will constitute the state of thing under which this particular thing happened. And so that can be also be proved, that this knowledge that he drink at the night and after heavy drinking he listen the music, उसमें वो प्लग पे ऐसे हाथ लगाता है, उसके बाद वो गिर जाएगा तो उठ भी नहीं पाएगा. So all those facts that can also be that also became relevant by virtue of the section 7. The opportunity is not enough, but when there is no direct evidence, in the circumstantial evidences are present, then that a particular accused has the opportunity to commit the crime became very, very important fact. And if this fact proved by adducing the evidences, that will be important for the trial. There can be no crime without the opportunity, but there is wide gulf to bridge over the evidence between the opportunity and the commission. Without the opportunity, a crime cannot be committed. Like husband and wife are living in a flat, and a person who was living opposite to that flat always see कि husband सुबह 10 बजे जाता है, रात को 6 बजे आता है. And at the relevant time when the husband was not absent is a good opportunity to rape his wife. So when the husband was not there, it is good opportunity कि जैसे हस्बैंड नहीं आएगा, बाहर से कुछ चीजें गिराओ, वाइफ खोलेगी, तुरंत उसको ओवर पावर करो. So as such, the opportunity plays a very important role, but it does not mean when a person has the opportunity, definitely he will commit the crime. Footprint as such, that can be also admissible because that shows the effect. The tape recorded statement being a recorded fact regarding the relevant conversation, the conversation with respect to the that somehow related to the commission of the offense is also admissible. So all these things are relevant, like the offense, the murder was the offense of murder was committed. So the blood stain on the floor, that is also the effect. So these 5 things: cause, occasion, effect of constitute the state of thing, and the opportunity became relevant under the section 7. Now come to the section 8. Section 8 is making 3 things relevant. One is motive, and you know that motive is very, very important. And when there is no direct evidence, then motive play a very important role. Without establishing the motive, the circumstantial evidences are not treated as sufficient. Suppose in a murder trial or in a rape trial, when A saw that the offense was committed by B on the C, so there is the eyewitness. But in every crime, you cannot expect a eyewitness. And so in that case, the motive is very important. A ने B को गाली दी और B ने जो है उस पे पत्थर से सर फोड़ दिया या सर फोड़ के मार दिया. So that was motive. Motive was to take the revenge. So this thing that A abused B became relevant, and the evidence can be given for proving this thing as per the section 5. Evidence तो देना ही उसका है जो fact in issue है या relevant fact है. And this thing that A abused B became the relevant by virtue of the section 8. And for this relevant fact, by virtue of the section 5, evidence can be given. Motive under section 8, first is the motive. Second is the preparation. The death of the bee was caused by the poison. And a chemist C says that भाई कल जो है A इस तरह की poison लेने के लिए मेरे पास आया था. So this is relevant fact because this shows that A was preparing for committing the offense of murder by giving the poison. So motive, preparation, and previous and subsequent conduct. A want to rob B, a woman. And at relevant day, office भी नहीं गया A. So this shows that is sub previous conduct. After the commission, he went to Simla. 6 बजे रेप करके 7 बजे शिमला भाई साहब. So that is subsequent conduct. So like in the section 7, 5 things we read as relevant, that is occasion, cause, effect, state of thing that constitute the occurrence, and the opportunity. Under section 8, there are 3 things: motive, preparation, and conduct, subsequent and previous and subsequent conduct. These 3 things. Now, read section 8, that any fact is relevant which shows or constitute a motive or preparation of any fact in issue or relevant fact. See, another important thing, that every section is making certain fact as a relevant fact. And then in another section, you saying that with respect to that relevant fact also, the another section is making another relevant fact. Like the motive, not only of the fact in issue, but of relevant fact का भी, जो अभी आपने occasion में relevant fact दिखाया था. Under section 7, you constitute certain fact as the opportunity as a relevant fact. With respect to that opportunity also, motive you can see, preparation you can show. So by combining one section into another section, many things became relevant in the judicial inquiry, in the suit or the proceeding, you can say. So any fact that constitute or that shows the motive of committing crime, motive of going somewhere place, so that can the occasion, that in the marriage, Mr. A and this lady B were drinking on the floor. Okay, so this became a relevant fact and the evidence can be of given. And after that, with respect to that, if certain preparation is done, कि भाई वो उस समय जब था ना, उसने किसी को ऊपर आने भी नहीं दिया, क्लोज द डोर कि कोई ऊपर आए ना, तब तक वो उस लड़की को काफी ड्रिंक करवा सके. So that became relevant under section 8. Okay, so this making a relevant by one provision, the whole web is prepared under the Evidence Act. Now the second portion of section 8, that the conduct of any part or of any agent in any party to any suit or the proceeding in reference to such suit or proceeding, or in reference to any fact in issue therein relevant thereto, and the conduct of any person, an offense against whom is subject of any proceeding is relevant if such conduct influences or is influenced by any fact in issue or relevant fact, whether the previous or the subsequent. That means in the brief you can say the conduct of the person that is influenced by either fact in issue or by the relevant fact, whether that is previous to the commission of the offense or that is subsequent to the commission of offense. The previous and subsequent thing with respect to the incident, that is the that particular incident, and then the two explanation are attached, and this there is the cardinal rule of the interpretation of the statute, that explanation and illustration does not increase the scope of the provision. Explanation and illustration never increase the scope. ऐसा नहीं कि वो सेक्शन को बड़ा या छोटा कर दिए, but they only explain something, or illustration is just an example on that particular provision. The first explanation that is attached to the section 8 is the word conduct in this section does not include statement. As such, also we know that conduct means the conduct, statement cannot be conduct. Okay, so it is just an explanatory unless those statement accompanied and explain act other than the conduct. A killed B by stabbing, and in this process of stabbing there was some blood stain on the clothes of A. When he came to the house, he just take off his clothes and give his to wife that wash it. So that is showing the statement accompanied and explain his the statement unless those statement accompany and explain act. So this act of giving the clothes, this statement that was it, is not only the statement, but it shows the conduct, that how quickly he take off his cloth and want to get it washed. So this statement, if someone want to prove that he said that just wash it, quickly wash it. So as such, this statement is not a conduct. Explanation is saying, the first line is saying that conduct means the conduct while you do something. Conduct does not mean what you say. Okay, so the statement does not conduct, but when the statement is explanatory of your conduct, that is relevant. But this explanation is not affect the relevancy of the statement under any other section. And the next portion is saying that maybe, suppose without giving a particular, only the statement is given, this statement may not be relevant under section 8, but it may be relevant with some other provision. So section 8 is not saying that after the incident, if some statement is given, that is not relevant in totality, but it's saying that under the category previous and subsequent conduct, केवल statement अगर कोई आदमी देता है तो वो relevant नहीं होगी, अगर वो statement उसके conduct को explain कर रही है, so वो relevant होगी. Okay. Second explanation, when the conduct of any person is relevant, any statement made to him on his presence and hearing which affect such conduct is also relevant. So, a murder was committed in a society. And on the second day, in presence of the person A, B said, भाई साहब पुलिस आ गई है और पुलिस को एक क्लू लगा है कि जिसके बाल नहीं थे ना, उसने क्राइम किया है, एंड ही इज सर्चिंग फॉर दैट. ये सुनते ही ये सब सपा के वहां से निकल लिया. सो आफ्टर हियरिंग दिस थिंग, ए जस्ट लेफ्ट दैट प्लेस. सो दिस कंडक्ट ऑफ ए इज रिलेवेंट, एंड इसके रिगार्डिंग अंडर सेक्शन 5 एविडेंस आप दे सकते हो. आफ्टर कमीशन ऑफ मर्डर, A leaves for Simla. That can be important. After the offense of rape committed on victim B went to the police station. That is also subsequent conduct. So that conduct will become relevant. In the statement that when A said that the police is searching for the criminal who does not have hair, A suddenly left. So this conduct of leaving that place and the statement said by the B both would be relevant, as it is from the explanation it is clear. Okay. Now there are certain illustrations that are attached and by which you will better understand it. Explanation we have already made that A is tried for the murder of B. The fact that A murdered C. Simple. There is the trial कि A ने B को मारा है. यहाँ पे एक फैक्ट है कि A ने C का मर्डर किया था और B जानता था कि A ने C का मर्डर किया था और B उसको ब्लैकमेल करता था. He tried to extort money from the A, threatening him. और इस थ्रेटनिंग से परेशान होके इसको खत्म करने के मोटिव से, इरादे से ए ने बी को भी मार दिया. So this statement, this particular fact that A killed C and B knows it and he used to extort the money, this became relevant because all these statements, all these facts are able to show the motive behind the commission of the murder of B by A. And so that is important. That became relevant. I'm not so important is not a proper term. That became relevant. And with respect to all these things, you can adduce the evidence as per the section 5, because evidence can be given of anything who is able to prove the existence and non-existence of fact in issue or the relevant fact. And these facts became relevant by virtue of section 8. So with respect to that, the evidence can be given. The second illustration also shows the motive. कि A ने B पे शू किया कि इसने मेरे से पैसे लिए, वापस किए नहीं. The fact that when the bond was signed, B को पैसे की जरूरत थी, so that fact can be proved that as to show the motive that why he has taken the money. Okay. Now, A is tried for the murder of B by poison. That we have already discussed. The fact that before the death of B, A procured poison similar to that which was administered to the B is relevant because it shows preparation. Illustration D is also with respect to the preparation, that there is a question with respect to a will. Will होती है ना, जिसको वसीयत बोलते हैं हिंदी में. So हमारे पास जो भी प्रॉपर्टी हमने अर्जित की है या इनहेरिट की है हमारे पूर्वजों से, with respect to that property, either we can make the will or it will, inherited by interstate. या तो आप उसका विल बना दो या आपके मरने के बाद में, जो हिंदू लॉ है तो उसमें हिंदू सक्सेशन एक्ट 1955 के अकॉर्डिंग वो सक्सीड हो जाएगी. आपकी क्लास 1 एयर्स नहीं है तो क्लास 2 एयर्स एटसेट्रा. नाउ एट द रिलेवेंट टाइम द क्वेश्चन इज कि ए की ये विल सही है कि नहीं है. द फैक्ट दैट ए बिफोर हिज डेथ और एट द रिलेवेंट टाइम ही वेंट टू द वकील, उसने ड्राफ्ट भी बनवाया, और all those facts are showing the preparation that he made this will. Now come to the conduct. The illustration J, very beautifully explained, that the question is whether A was ravished. Ravished means raped. The fact that shortly after the alleged rape, C made a complaint relating to the crime, the circumstances under which and the term in which the complaint was made are relevant. So after the offense of crime, in the torn cloth, फटे पुराने कपड़ों में रो रही है, बाल बिखरे पड़े हैं. She went to the police station. She made the complaint. So all these circumstances and the terms in which the complaint was made are relevant because they shows the subsequent conduct. रेप के बाद में जब इतना heinous crime is committed against a woman, so what would be her situation that are perfect, and definitely she will take the police inform तो करेगी. or someone injured you by stone, पत्थर का मारा, सर से खून पड़ रहा है, आपकी शर्ट पे गिरा हुआ है, पुलिस स्टेशन पे गया, आपने कहा कि भाई श्याम सिंह ने पत्थर मारा, रो भी रहे हो, थोड़ा दर्द हो रहा है. So all those incidents are showing the subsequent conduct. Now there is two explanation that saying that explaining something more about that. In explanation G also, that the fact that without making a complaint she said that she had been ravished is not relevant. वो complaint तो नहीं करती है, but घर के किसी आदमी को बताती है कि she was ravished, she was raped, so that would not become relevant. As a natural consequence, you can say that is also subsequent conduct, that after offense जरूरी नहीं कि हर आदमी पुलिस स्टेशन पे ही जाए, हर आदमी पुलिस में ही कंप्लेन करे. कुछ लोगों में some women does not have that courage, and so they would not go to the police station, they come to the family member and then telling it, but that explanation is saying that is not relevant as per the conduct. So here the conduct is basically specified, or it is clarified, that conduct does not mean the conduct of making saying anything. कुछ भी आप कहो वो conduct नहीं है. The saying is not important. Going to police station for filing, lodging the complaint, that is conduct. The statement you are showing is not. So that explanation explain it, and illustration also explain it. आप कह रहे हो आपके साथ रेप हुआ, ये इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. आप उस पे एक्शन ले रहे हो, दैट इंपॉर्टेंट, दैट शोज द कंडक्ट. नहीं लिया तो दैट डज नॉट मीन कि वो नहीं आपने तुरंत किया, आपने फैमिली मेंबर में कहा, तो इसका मतलब नहीं कि यू विल नॉट विन द केस. देयर मे बी सम सर्टेन अदर थिंग, बट व्हेन यू इमीडिएटली मेक द कंप्लेंट एंड इन द सिचुएशन यू मेकिंग द कंप्लेंट, ऑल दोज फैक्ट आल्सो बिकेम द रेलेवेंट. ओके. But when suppose the accused is in such a site that after rape she is not able to file the complaint, वहीं पे पड़ी हुई है, सांसें उसकी चल रही हैं, and then she said that some person raped him, like it happened in the Delhi rape case, the younger that doctor, she was raped. So whatever she said, after her death, it would become dying declaration, and after that, that statement itself will become relevant, but that would not be relevant as a conduct, but it would be relevant as a dying declaration under the section 32 clause 1, or as a corroborative evidence also. Illustration K also explain this thing. I'm reading it, that the question is whether A was robbed. There is the allegation against the A that A robbed B. So fact in issue is whether A robbed B or not. The another is with intention, or if robbery में तो intention भी नहीं होता. Okay. So the fact that soon after the alleged robbery, A made complaint relating to the offense, and the circumstances under which the term in which the complaint was made are relevant. सुबह के रो रहा है, बेचारे की जेब फटी पड़ी है, जज साहब इतने रुपए थे, बेटी के ब्याह के लिए रोके थे. So that would become the relevant. But suppose in this robbery and he's injured, because robbery में तो injured भी होगा, injured. But suppose he did not make the complaint and he got the serious injury, and then his family member, some other person came, he taken to the hospital, and the hospital is saying to the doctor the same thing, that this person has committed the robbery cause injury, and then he made the certain statement, after that he died. So those statement as such, that is not conduct, it would not be relevant, but those statement would be relevant under section 32 clause 1 as a dying declaration. Or maybe, that statement maybe further became relevant if he has not been died, as a corroborative evidence, maybe under section 157. But as such, these two explanation is basically in line with the these illustration in line with the explanation to showing that the statement itself would not constitute. The section 8 does not cover the statement. The section 8 cover only the conduct. Okay, whatever you are saying in the FIR is not here relevant in that sense, but you made the FIR and the terms in which you made the FIR, पत्थर से खून पड़ रहा है, पत्थर लगा हुआ है, so these was can be these are relevant and that can be proved. Illustration C, that with respect to the second explanation, the question is whether A robbed B. The fact that after B was robbed, C said in A's presence the police was coming to look the man who robbed B. A ने B को लूट लिया, बाद में क्या हुआ, C आया और A की प्रेजेंस जहाँ A भी खड़ा हुआ था, बोला कि भाई A उसको ढूंढ रही, पुलिस उसको ढूंढ रही है जिसने B को लूटा है. And immediately afterward A run away. So his running away and his statement both became relevant. The statement of the C कि पुलिस आ रही है, and उस statement के साथ वो उसका अचानक से भाग जाना, that shows the conduct, both are relevant. The question is whether A owes B rupees 10,000. Question की A जो है owes B 10,000 rupees. The fact that A asks C to lend him money. A जो है वो B के 2,000 रुपए उसने ले रखे हैं, इस बात का क्वेश्चन है. A C से भी पैसे मांगता है, वहां पे कोई दूसरा आदमी D भी खड़ा है जो फ्री फंड की एडवाइस देता है. उसने C को कहा कि भाई इसको पैसे मत देना, बिकॉज इसने B के 10,000 रुपए ले रखे हैं. A कोई रिप्लाई नहीं देता, वहां से चला जाता. तो दिस कैन बी प्रूव्ड that D said this thing, that A owes 10,000 rupees of the B, and the conduct of leaving B without replying, that also showing the conduct. Okay, previous conduct का भी कर लेते हैं. Illustration E, A is accused of a crime. The fact that either before or at the time of the or after the alleged crime, A provided evidence which would tend to give to the fact of the case as an appearance favorable to himself, or that he destroyed concealed evidence, prevented the presence or procure the absence of the person who might have been witness or suborned person to give the false evidence, or evidence respecting it are relevant. There is the question that whether A robbed B or not, और A अंधेरे में किसी दूसरे के कपड़े पहन के जाता है ताकि दूसरों को लगे कि ये A नहीं, ये D है. And after the offense वो उसी कपड़ों में लौटता है. So this wearing these things is just to create the false evidence. So that is the previous conduct, and that can also be relevant. So the previous and subsequent conduct are relevant. Preparation and motive, these three things are relevant. Now I am not taking a next section because we have exhausted the time. Now we can briefly summarize that what we have discussed. We have discussed 4 sections: section 5, section 6, section 7, section 8. Section 5 is basically showing that the evidence किसका देना चाहिए. एविडेंस हम केवल 2 ही चीजों के दे सकेंगे, फैक्ट इन इश्यू को प्रूव या डिस्प्रूव करे, या किसी रिलेवेंट फैक्ट को प्रूव या डिस्प्रूव करे. उसके अलावा हम एविडेंस नहीं दे सकते. द सेक्शन इज वेरी क्लियर that the evidence may be given एक दो शब्दों इसमें और जोड़ दो, इन ए सूट और द प्रोसीडिंग that prove the existence or non-existence of relevant fact or fact in issue and no other. सिंपल शब्दों में इसको कहो कि किसी भी जुडिशियल इंक्वायरी में एविडेंस हमें रिलेवेंट फैक्ट और फैक्ट इन इश्यू के प्रूव या डिसप्रूव करने के लिए ही उसका रिलेटेड ही हम दे सकते हैं, उसके अलावा नहीं. Now section 6 includes the principle of res gestae, forming the part of same transaction. जो चीज क्वेश्चन में है, the particular things that is in the question in a civil or the criminal trial, all other things that are related to that and forming the same transaction would also become relevant by virtue of section 6. चाहे वो एक टाइम पे उसी टाइम पे हुई हो या उससे समय के अंतराल पे हुई हो या अलग अलग जगह पे हुई हो. And the best illustration is that the last illustration that there is the allegation कि A ने B को एक डिफेमेटरी लेटर लिखा, तो पहले का उनका जो लेटर का कन्वर्सेशन है, पूरा पत्रों का आदान प्रदान, जो result into this particular defamatory letter, that would also be relevant. चाहे उन्होंने कहीं कहीं से लिखे हों, किसी पहले के टाइम पे लिखे हों, that became. In the trial of the murder, that A caused the death by beating the B, what A said, what B said during the beating, or the bystander said, जो देख रहे थे वो लोग क्या कहे, उनका भी आप दे सकते हो, because that is also forming the part of same transaction. After that incident be taken to the hospital, what he said in the hospital is also that statement that also became relevant, because that is also the part of the same transaction. If he went to the police station, going to the police station shows that it is subsequent conduct, it would be relevant under section 8, and what he narrate there, that would become relevant under section 6, forming part of same transaction. Okay, and section 6 basically exclude this principle of hearsay evidence. Under section 6, some form of hearsay evidence is admissible. Okay, the another thing is that the section 6, 7, 8, 14, both all these sections are forming the part of res gestae principle, but as a we have to say that section 6 only have the res gestae. Okay, somehow all these sections are related to this whole incident happening events. Okay? Now come to the section 7. Section 7, in section 7 we discuss 5 things. Occasion, क्या ओकेजन रहा उस पे ये क्राइम हुआ, कोज, क्या कारण रहा जिससे क्राइम हुआ, पैसे थे तभी तो लूटा, इफेक्ट, लूटने के बाद में चोट भी आई, जहां पे मर्डर हुआ वहां पे स्ट्रगलिंग के निशान भी हैं, ब्लड स्टेन है, वो भी प्रूव कर सकते हो, दैट इज विल आल्सो बिकम रेलेवेंट. स्टेट ऑफ थिंग्स दैट constitute the offense and the opportunity, these 5 things became relevant. And in the last section, that is section 8, motive, why the accused has committed the crime. In the civil proceedings, suppose there is that A taken money from B, why he taken money, उस समय he was in the necessity, उसकी बेटी की शादी थी, so that can be proved because it would become relevant under section 8. Motive, then the motive, then preparation. Before the death he procured the poison. Before the murder वो रोज नए नए चक्कू देखता था, भाई साहब इससे कितना अंदर तक घुस जाएगा. And conduct, previous or subsequent, but statement does not include conduct. But if the conduct is explained by the statement, so वो statement भी हो जाएगी, या कोई ऐसी statement जो conduct को वो करती है, like she said that police is coming to search the person who robbed the A, and then this person leaves, so that would also become relevant. So these 4 sections we have discussed. Vishwajit asks, sir, how is previous conduct is different from previous? See, previous conduct does not always be preparation. Preparation is basically to those activity that are important for commission of the offense. In the illustration that we just discussed, illustration E. Very good question you have asked. Illustration E, or the illustration that I have given, that there is the offense of rape committed by A on the victim B. But when he was going to commit the rape, उसने दूसरे कपड़े पहने हुए थे डी के, so that it would create the presumption कि ये A नहीं D ही था. So this going by wearing the cloth of the D, it is not preparation. ऐसा नहीं कि वो क्लोथ नहीं करेगा तो ऑफेंस नहीं कमिट कर पाएगा, बट दिस इज हिज प्रीवियस कंडक्ट. उसका कंडक्ट शो करता है कि ये फॉल्स एविडेंस क्रिएट करने के लिए, ताकि उसे लोग पहचाने नहीं, ऐसा किया. और उसने मास्क चेहरे पे ऐसे कुछ लगाया हुआ है, या चोर लोग जो आंखों पे पट्टी वट्टी बांध के जाते हैं, तो वो जो पट्टी बांध रहा था उस समय ये दिखा सकते हुए मेरे सामने पट्टी वट्टी बांध के मुंह काला करके गया था. तो मुंह काला करने से ऐसा नहीं चोरी होगी. सो दैट डज नॉट showing the preparation, but it is the previous conduct. Okay, so the preparation and the previous conduct, you can differentiate that the preparation is basically related to those facts that are important for commission of the offense, and the conduct, previous conduct, is basically all other facts that not related to the commission of the offense, but they are committed by the accused in the course of the commission or before the commission of the offense. Okay, yes. Oh, good question, Vishwajit. So all any other question, any other query, anything that you want to ask from these 4 sections? Because see, it's very important, and believe me, after this class, throughout your life, you will work on the law. आप जज बनेगे, एडवोकेट बनोगे, लेकिन दोबारा से आपको पढ़ने का ये मौका नहीं मिलेगा. ठीक है. सो यू थिंक ओवर दीज सेक्शंस, एंड इन द माइंड यू इमेजिन दैट हाउ मच स्कोप दीज सेक्शन आर गिविंग. देखो 4 सेक्शन हमने पढ़े, 3 ही सेक्शन, 6, 7, 8, 5वां तो छोड़ ही दो. एंड बाय दीज सेक्शंस many things that may not be in the question, fact in issue नहीं है. like a ऑफेंस ऑफ मर्डर करो, 3 ही चीज होती हैं. अगर स्टैबिंग से हुआ तो ए ने बी को स्टैब किया, एक ये फैक्ट इन इश्यू है. उस स्टैबिंग से डेथ हुई, एक ये फैक्ट इन इश्यू है. उसकी इंटेंशन थी डेथ कॉज करने की, एक ये, 3 ही फैक्ट इन इश्यू है. लेकिन फैक्ट क्या क्या चीजों को आप देखते हुए फिल्म में या और किसी डॉक्यूमेंट्री में, ट्रायल में, कि पहले दिखाएंगे कि एक समय था जब जो था अक्यूज की बहन को इसने विक्टिम के भाई ने जो था रेप किया था. फिर उसके बाद में ये हुआ, क्योंकि दिस शोज द मोटिव दैट ए वांट टू टेक द रिवेंज. फिर उसने किस तरह से चाकू वाकू लिया, दैट शोज द प्रिपरेशन. फिर उस दिन उसने किस तरह से जो है अपना मुंह काला करके अलग कपड़े पहन के गया, दिस शोज द प्रिपरेशन, नो प्रीवियस कंडक्ट. फिर उसके बाद में उसने देखा कि वो मेले में है, अकेले में है, वो कोज ओकेजन दिखाएगा. फिर उधर उसने देखा एक टेंट में है, so that gives the opportunity. So all these things can be proved, and that things is to prove to that fact in issue or to the relevant fact. और इन चीजों के आप एविडेंस आप दे सकते हो. उसका रेप किया था ये कहने से नहीं होगा, इसके लिए आपको प्रूव करना पड़ेगा मोटिव को भी. कोई एविडेंस, कोई गवाह लाओगे, पुरानी मौसी को उसने कहा हाँ मेरे सामने जज साहब ऐसा हुआ था, या कोई भी, या पहले कि आप कोई FIR की कॉपी ले आई, चार्जशीट की कॉपी ले, देखो इस पे ये था लेकिन फाइनली बरी हो गया और उसी का बदला लेने के लिए इसने किया. सो दिस रिलेवेंसी वी आर शोइंग, एंड इन रिलेवेंसीज, इन फैक्ट, रिलेवेंट फैक्ट को प्रूव करने के लिए सेक्शन 5 के अकॉर्डिंग आप एविडेंस दे सकते हो, यानी आप उसको किसी की गवाही से या किसी डॉक्यूमेंट से आप उनको प्रूव करोगे. Okay, so with this, today class is over, and good luck, guys. We will meet on the Friday, and we'll discuss this remaining section, to section 9 and 11. I'm uh, thoda sa, I'm slightly, my pace is high because we have to complete the syllabus. We also have to discuss the cases also. So section 9 and 11 हम Friday की class में करेंगे, and if possible section 10 also, then we will discuss cases also. So meantime you can even read cases also. एक दो case भी पढ़ लो अगर time मिलता है. So with this remark, uh, good day, guys, and we will meet on the Friday. Bye bye. See